Alright, in this video we are going to show every monster in the entire game of Bloodborne. I think this is kind of a fun format because you can see how the people go from being regular townsfolk and gradually get more and more insane, and so do the monsters you're fighting consequently. So, in this video we will talk about basic ways to take down the enemies as well. A lot of them, you'll notice that the tactic I've written down, dodge and strike. This basically means get out of the way of their attack, and then when there's an opening, hit them. So that sounds very basic, but that simply is how you have to take care of a lot of the enemies in this game. Some of them might have unique traits, but for the most part you're going to have to learn how to master the skill of learning their attacks, getting out of the way, and then going after them. I also will not be talking about bosses in this video because I've got many other videos detailing each boss. And I also won't be showing all the hunters you find throughout the game because they're not monsters, they're other hunters. As you can see, a lot of the enemies are mixed together. Right now I'm fighting townsfolk and this dog and these other guys that are shooting at me. So you're going to have to learn to mix and max your techniques. The game will require quite a bit from you. Now for the most part in this video I'm going to be using a long-ranged weapon, and so a decent tactic for dodging is to dodge away from the enemies or to the side and then take a swipe at them, because generally your weapon will be longer than theirs if you use, for example, the hunter axe in its long form. But if you are using a short-range weapon, you'll actually want to dodge towards the enemy and get right next to them. For these guys with guns, just walk up to them and take them out. So if you're fighting the townsfolk just one-on-one or one-on-two, take your time, get out of the way of their swings, and go in. If you get a little too ambitious and just run in, they'll take you out, and you'll just keep getting hit. For the dogs, you do need to dodge and strike, but they usually attack twice in a row, 1, 2, so just dodge twice in a row and then go in for the kill. Now this guy, he's probably the first major enemy you'll encounter. He has a lot of hit points and does a lot of damage and has a long range. So he could be pretty tough. If you try to just go after him like normal and attack, he'll probably get the better of you. So you're going to want to do a Visceral attack, which is shooting right before his attack connects. If you attack too early, it won't work, it won't stun him, and he'll probably kill you. However, I also wanted to show this guy twice, because you can see now his eyes are glowing. That means he's got my blood echoes. If I take him out, I'll get my blood echoes back. So I want to shoot him just before his attack connects, and then I can land the Visceral attack, which does a lot of damage, in this case killing him in one hit. His cousin, the Brick Troll, can be taken down a similar way. He's easier, he has a shorter range. He does attack pretty fast though once he gets going. He has a pretty predictable attack though. He winds up for quite a while, so you can probably get a shot in and stun him and then get your Visceral attack in. These crows look harmless enough because they don't fly, they just kind of slither on the ground. But they do jump up and they can attack you several times and do a lot more damage than you might expect. So I would try not to approach them from the front because you'll get hit by that. Instead, just dodge to the side, and they pivot pretty slowly, so that should be good enough. As you can see, if you go from the front, they can really start getting you. Alright, werewolves. These will be probably your first major challenge in the game. Some people, frankly, might even quit the game at this point because it can be so frustrating. There's no real easy trick to taking out these two werewolves. They pretty much always come in pairs of two, despite your efforts to only lure one of them away. And the technique is you got to learn how they attack and dodge and strike. Again, probably dodging towards them works pretty well in this case, because they're a large enough enemy that if you get behind them, it's very helpful. Now these corpses look as if they've already been taken care of, but they are in fact still alive. They're not too hard one-on-one, but they're always in these groups like this. So I would recommend just using really wide swings and getting a lot of them taken care of at once. They attack pretty slow, but they do have a pretty decent range because of their long bony arms. So make sure to kind of do what you can to keep them in a group, and then just use these wide swings and you should be able to take care of them. I also like, incidentally, how they don't bleed. They kind of give out this green goo, and you get a bunch of green goo all over your clothes. So they're one of the only monsters in the game that does something other than splash blood on you. The rats aren't too difficult. They have a longer range than you'd think because they can do this jumping leap attack, but they're not too bad. Most weapons will take them out in 2 or 3 hits. Just be careful with how quick they are. This giant pig has a lot of hit points and very wide attack ranges. You can just dodge and strike and try to get behind the pig, or you can try to find narrow places the pig can't get into and just take him out from there. You can see that the enemies have started to go more and more insane and are becoming more beast-like at this point. These guys, they carry a variety of things. Again, your best technique is kind of like the Townsfolk. Just dodge their attacks and strike. They have a longer range than the Townsfolk, but they're not too bad. Watchers are pretty similar. They also carry this long walking stick thing. There's a wide variety of Watchers, though. This first guy has nothing real special, and you can probably take him out pretty easily. This guy carries a little lantern that shoots out an area of effect attack if you get too close, and if you get far away, shoots out these little homing beams. And pretty frustrating. You just got to go after this guy. Just get in there and take several swings and try to take him out. This Watcher who carries a scythe, get in there and be aggressive. He's got a really long attack and he's not too bad if you can get in there. These guys that carry these red glowing crosses are pretty tough. If they hit you once, you will be inflicted with Frenzy. So Frenzy is kind of like bleeding in the Dark Souls games. It just fills up a gauge slowly, and if that gauge gets filled, you'll just take a lot of damage all at once. So you want to carry some Sedative to reset that effect. And you're also just going to want to be aggressive with these guys. If they get a hit in, as you can see, even the Frenzy got me after I killed him. So they're very dangerous. You just got to get in there and take them out. Sandman carries a giant sack, which I imagine is filled with doorknobs, and he will kick and punch, and then he's pretty slow, but sometimes he will get very energetic and charge after you. I would recommend using a big weapon so that every 1 or 2 hits you stun him, and you minimize the attacks he can do back to you. The Club Troll is just a variant of the Brick Troll, but he carries this large tree branch or something. So he has a longer range than the Brick Troll, but the technique is the same. You can go after him like normal, or you can try to stun him. Stupid, stupid birds. So these giants, hopefully you can get so you're just fighting one at a time. They are very big, and they have very large weapons. Thus, they have a huge range when they swing their weapon. Your best bet is just dodge, try to get behind them, and take them out that way. There's a few different varieties of giants. I'm highlighting this one in particular. I won't highlight all variants of all enemies here. But this one has this giant ball and chain, which he swings round and around, including behind him. So it's pretty tricky to get behind him to do some attacks, but that is still your best bet with this guy. You'll want to be careful from being in front of him too much, especially at a distance, because he can get into these big fits where he swings his ball over and over and over again, and then he does a super long reaching attack, which I'm trying to get him to do here. So just try to get behind him. These guys in wheelchairs are, of course, harmless, except so they have this chain gun. Don't get in front of them. They're very slow moving. If you just get to the side, you can take them out pretty easily. They'll mix up with other guys, which makes them kind of tricky. But still, you're going to have to take these guys out because they'll get the better of you if you ignore them. These guys in wheelchairs with a flamethrower are very similar. Just get to the side and they're no big deal. These werewolves that can also cast magic fireballs and stuff like that have quite a bit of hit points, so you'll want to make sure you're ready before you go in and fight with one of them. There's no real easy technique with these guys either. You just have to kind of learn how they're going to attack you, maybe be kind of patient, and just go in when there's an opening. In this case, you can see I've kind of got them trapped behind this wooden beam and can get a few easy hits in. That's pretty lucky though. So, no amazing technique there, just learn his attack. These mini werewolves are not too complicated to fight. You just need to wait for them to attack and get out of the way. They usually attack in packs, so you might want to put distance between you and them. A long-range weapon might be helpful. These hooded guys, which I call Tusken Raiders, have very similar attacks to the wolves, except for they can get really long, fast strings of attacks in. And they're not too bad to take out either. The bigger ones have quite a few hit points and can not summon other ones to them, but kind of alert nearby guys in the area. And so you might have to fight many of them in packs, but they're not too bad. The cloth part of them actually is over their body, so you can get little peeks at their face and glowing red eyes if you watch carefully. I like to think of these dogs as regular dogs going even more insane. They're about as simple. They will attack twice in a row sometimes, but not always, so just do typical attacks with them, and they should go down pretty easily. These guys with the scythes can attack pretty fast and actually do a fair amount of damage that is difficult to heal from by attacking back. So you might want to keep some distance, use some long-range weapons, but treat them like a regular enemy. They're not too bad. There's an area with a poison swamp with these giants in them. You would fight them the same way you'd fight the other giants. Try to get behind them. They can be pretty tricky because you'll probably be getting poisoned at the same time, so you need to allocate your resources carefully. They themselves don't poison you, but the environments they're in do. There's one enemy who operates a cannon. It's not a different type of enemy, but worth noting. Just try to run past the shots and take out the guy running the thing, and you should be okay. If you get hit by the cannon, it can do a lot of damage, so just avoid that. It's just a regular enemy here, with one exception. His head is a bunch of snakes. These guys have more hit points than you might expect, so I would recommend keeping your distance, and if you can, use a big weapon like the Hunter Axe, because they can attack rapidly and also grab you and do quite a bit of damage, but if you can get 2 or 3 hits with a big weapon, and it will stun them and they won't be able to get their attacks off. These snake pits are easier than you might think, especially considering the appearance of them. You'll notice that they don't actually do very much damage when they hit you, and so you don't have to be too cautious. The problem is, though, that they will poison you, so I would have some antidote on hand in case that happens. These aliens aren't too tricky. when they have their spikes out like that on their head, they can shoot homing kind of soul arrows at you. That doesn't happen in this video. They rarely do it for some reason. If they're not like that, they just kind of rush up to you and try to bash you, but just attack, and I'm not even sure I've ever gotten hit by one of these guys. They're not too difficult. There's a close-up of a unaware alien, just so you can get a better look at him. Though the boss version of this next guy is called a Brain Sucker, they have a very similar appearance and attack style as the Mind Flayers in Demon Souls. That's what I call them. You'll notice your insight goes down if you get attacked by them like that. So try to avoid that. They'll also shoot out little beams that stun you, and then they'll grab you and do that move. So your best bet is to dodge to the side to avoid those attacks and just be aggressive and you can take them out. Are these crazy cat ladies. Once you get to the woods, they are kind of like the Townsfolk in that they just are in packs and aggressively come at you, all with different types of move sets. Just try to dodge out of the way of their attacks and go after them. There's nothing particularly dangerous about them, but keep on your guard. These guys at Canehurst Castle are lurking outside. Hopefully you can get them one at a time, because if you get them two at a time, they can be pretty tough. They are not too bad, except for they do have a charged attack that does a lot of damage. You can see that my guy is using blood vials, but still, this mosquito thing's attack will take me down in just one hit. So you gotta watch out for that. These ghosts can be pretty aggressive, and probably the best defense against that is to be really aggressive yourself. Some of them carry blades, some of them might even carry more than that. So just go after them. I would recommend like a quicker one-handed type weapon, and you should be able to make short work of them. There's also these other servants in the castle that will not fight back no matter what, as near as I can tell, so if you want to be mean, you can go after them, but you should probably feel pretty ashamed of yourself. I'm just walking along. Aye! So you might even go back and pause the video and still not see that gargoyle. They tend to hide very well amongst other statues in their environment, so just be careful and to figure out where they are, and they're not too bad. You just have to figure out where they're at ahead of time. This version of ghosts rips off their own heads and scream at you. They themselves don't do any damage, but you will get stunned if you're too close to them. So just kind of stay back and you should be okay. You can either attack them first to get rid of the source of the stunning, or just go after the other monsters in the room that can actually hurt you. Either way is pretty good. These guys will stay back and shoot poison darts at you. They're very irritating. So I would recommend even just running through a room of enemies just to get up to them and take them out, because they will just pester you too much. These beautiful enemies will try to jump on you and attack you multiple times and inflict frenzy, which is that status I mentioned earlier. It'll take away 80% of your health if they inflict frenzy upon you. So you want to make sure you don't get hit by that. You're going to want to wait until they jump up and then attack them. If you try to attack them back, you won't stun them, regardless of your weapon size, and they'll get a jump on you and start feeding on you just like this. If you wait for an opening you'll be able to get them, even 2 at a time. Now, these bad boys are quite nefarious from a distance because they shoot gigantic fireballs at you that will do quite a bit of damage, but if you can just manage to get up close to them, they're not hard at all. And when you do get close, they have this mouth in their stomach region that will puke this stuff all over you. I'm in pretty bad placement here because I can't get around him due to these pillars, but if you can just get to the side or even behind them, they're very easy to take out. These women are kind of like the ones from before that were standing around twirling. They're a little bit more aggressive though. There's a wider variety, and some of them will be throwing Molotov cocktails at you. You're just going to want to deal with these the same as the Townsfolk. Just kind of bide your time and get some good attacks in there. In some areas of the game, you might hear a little bell ringing. There is a woman going around ringing this bell, and I would recommend taking her out as soon as you can, to the point of even running past monsters just to find the bell lady, because enemies can come back after a little bit of time, even after you've killed them. So this woman ringing the bell, as long as she's alive, these monsters will come back that are around her. You can't always tell which enemies will come back and which won't. Usually if when you kill them they make kind of a blood spatter sound, it's a little bit different than normal. They're probably under the influence of this bell woman and they will be resurrected. Also, some of the enemies will be kind of glowing red like this brick troll. They'll also, that's the game's way of telling you they're also under the influence of the bell woman and will be resurrected. And that wheelchair guy got me. Later on in the game, you'll see that even the werewolves have totally lost it. This is almost a skeletal frame of a werewolf. I believe they have the same attack patterns, and so you'll want to treat them the same way as you do the regular living werewolves. These things are just giant balls of attack. You'll want to dodge, then strike, then dodge, then strike, and I would recommend a longer range weapon. Some of these will even shoot things at you. Just dodge to the side to avoid that. I don't know if this is some sort of commentary on the higher educated, but these scholars are just really blob-like slugs with really stretchy limbs, and they're kind of pansies. You can just take care of them with wide swings. They're going to be in big groups like this. So if you can get a weapon like the whip or the hunter axe that's going to do kind of large area of effect damage, then they're not too hard. They don't do that much damage to you either. These little slug-like things can cause frenzy if they attack you. I got hit in this video just to show you that they do in fact attack. I've never even got hit by one when I'm trying to play. I don't think that you'll find them very difficult to fight. Any Futurama fans out there might remember the character Leela's father, who is noteworthy because his mouth is sideways. He's a mutant. So that's why I call these Leela's dad. They have sideways mouths. They are pretty aggressive. They're kind of like werewolves in their ultimate frenzied form, but they do walk on 2 legs like this. You might want to keep a bit of distance at times because of that flame attack, but just dodging and striking will do pretty good. There are technically 2 different forms of this guy. This second type is a bit more aggressive, a few more attacks. When they get lower in health, they'll get on all fours and attack very fast. They also will shoot their tongue out in a really long-range thing, so you might want to dodge to the side. And also when they die, these 2 worms will pop out of them, that actually do quite a bit of damage and can be hard to attack if you're locked onto them. If you have to fight the worm things that come out, I would recommend not locking on to any monsters nearby, because it just throws off your attack pattern, and you'll probably get killed. These guys are in a poison swamp. They are pretty slow, but once they get going, they have this very fast multiple attack string going straight forward. So I would recommend getting to the side of them before you fight. Don't get stuck in a cave like my guy is, because it's pretty hard to avoid their attacks. These big troll-like guys that throw rocks are in a few different places in the game, and they have a very, very far throw distance, and they're often spaced far enough apart so that when you are fighting one, another one will start throwing rocks at you. You can take them down. They have quite a bit of hit points and aren't stunned very easily. You can take them down, though. I would recommend, however, just trying to run past them. There's nothing that valuable in the areas that they're in, and it's very easy to die by a long-range hit from a guy that you're not even close to being able to reach. You can see that troll in the distance picking up his rock and hurling it at me. So again here, there's not too much around. You can just run past these guys, open the door, and they shouldn't pose much of a problem at all. These guys I call mastermind flayers. I consider them the most difficult guys in the game because they inflict frenzy on you just by looking at you, and they can inflict that from quite some distance. They also happen to be extremely creepy looking. I would recommend carrying a big weapon that will stun them after 2 hits, like the Hunter Axe in its two-handed form. That way you can stun them and they won't be able to hit you. And I would also recommend carrying Sedative so that you can cure your frenzy once it starts getting too much. If they grab you, and good luck. You'll definitely get frenzy inflicted on you, and they'll do quite a bit of damage as well. And you can die even after you kill them if their frenzy gets you. And if you get 2 attacks in, they'll be stunned. Don't stop in between to heal, because then they'll just grab you and you'll be done in. So just keep attacking with a big weapon and you can take care of these guys, but they are very tough. However, they do drop very good items. Those of you with arachnophobia might benefit from this section, because we can treat this like exposure therapy, being gradually exposed to something you're terrified of in an environment that can't hurt you, like a video game. So these spiders in this room are actually pretty clever. They'll trap you on this bridge by dropping down on both sides of you, and if you go down onto the floor of the main room, then all of them will drop down, including that gigantic one. And it can be pretty overwhelming to fight all of them at once. You can see that even though one's dropped down to the floor, it knows how to get back up to me. It's going to go up those stairs and come after me. I would recommend a ranged weapon, since they have a pretty long reach, and I would dodge towards them so you can get behind them. When they come at you in a big pack, then you can position yourself so that they have a harder time surrounding you. In other words, getting towards one end of a hallway and then doing wide swings once they all come after you. That can be a reasonable way to take care of all of them. This large spider can be pretty tricky. You can drop down off of the bridge and just do a falling attack on top of it several times. That works. If you want to face it head on, I would recommend getting behind him, but that spider can do attacks from behind, and it has extremely long range from the front, and if you get caught in its attacks, it'll probably kill you all the way. It also has this area of effect attack that it'll occasionally use, and very, very far-reaching forward lunge attacks, so going from the back is probably your best bet. If you try any other way, you're probably not going to make it. And I hope this super long clip of very disgusting spiders has helped you with your fear of spiders. These gnome-like guys will just patter around, not bothering you. They might glare at you and make you feel like you're in their house, but they won't become aggressive with you unless you become aggressive with them. Then they will come after you and just try to shove you. If you're aggressive with one, it usually will just make that one aggressive back to you, but it can trigger everyone around to come and attack you as well. So you can choose to avoid them, or you can choose to preemptively go after all of them, or go after them one at a time and just pick them off one by one. These big hulking guys have a variety of weapons. This one has a big cleaver and a chain, giving him both very strong short and long range attacks. There's not any real secret there, just dodge and strike. These Marionette guys are around when you are fighting a boss character. They regenerate after you kill them, no matter what, even without a bell-ringing lady around. So I wouldn't bother wasting your time on them, just avoid them. There are some special spiders in this game that have the face of a human being, which I thought, though it's simply a variety of the spiders, is noteworthy because that's pretty weird. Also, they do an area of effect attack, and so you might want to avoid that. They also do quite a bit more damage than normal spiders, so just be on your guard, but they're not too tough. Now it's getting weird. We've got mutant crows and mutant dogs. That is, a crow body and a dog head. Also, there's a couple of monsters that have the body of a dog and the head of a crow. They act just like their regular counterparts. There's no secret there. Just dodge to the side in the case of the crows, or double dodge in the case of the dogs. And they shouldn't give you any trouble. These are mostly here just to creep you out, I think. These guys are very similar to a boss you would have fought by this point. They can be pretty troublesome in groups like they appear in, but if you can try to pick them off one by one, that's helpful. Or if you can just try to keep your distance and go after them at an opportune moment, that helps as well. Might benefit from hitting these guys from the back, that is, dodge towards them rather than away from them, even with a long-range weapon. And you might find some luck there in getting rid of them. This one who's up on the ledge here, he'll usually drop down when you get close. You can take him out then, or if he doesn't, just go up behind him. I think this enemy is notable because it's a pig mixed with one of those crazy flies we saw earlier, and it's about as creepy as enemies get in video games. They're not too difficult, they just act like regular pigs. If you just can get behind them and avoid their wide swinging attacks, then you should be able to handle them. I also included the secondary video of one. I let it kill me so you could see its glowing eyes and how many eyes it in fact has. The monsters from here on out are found in Chalice dungeons. There are a lot of enemies that are in the main game that are also in Chalice dungeons, like this giant white thing, which you may remember the tactic is just to get in close and perhaps to the side. But there's a lot of enemies that are only in the Chalice dungeons, and you won't find them in the main game. So I think they're noteworthy as well, since all true Bloodborne conquerors will conquer all of the Chalice dungeons they can. For the life of me, I don't know what that guy ringing his lantern does. I tried to get him to ring it again, but he didn't. I believe they only ever do it once. My guess is they can awake some sleeping guys around them. In this case, there weren't any, but I don't know that for sure. You're just going to want to dodge these guys' attack and strike them when there's an opening. They're not hard. These coal mining guys remind me of the miners in Demon Souls, level 2-1. They'll just wait until you come up to them, so just go ahead and attack them. These guys are also in the main game if you get hit by one of the Sandmans at a certain point in the game. They're also in the Chalice dungeons. They just kind of sit there or even pretend to be dead, and until you walk up to them, then they'll get up. If you be aggressive, that's probably the best tactic, because they can surround you very quickly. These big guys have nothing special about them. They fight with a variety of weapons. This guy looks like he's got a big bone he's using as a club. Some of them have red-hot pokers. Some of them a big mace. Just dodge them and hit them when there's an opening. Dodging towards them to get behind them works pretty well in this case. Bigger weapon's going to be more helpful than these claws that I'm using. These are like the blobs in Dark Souls that drop right onto you. I think of them as like-likes from the Legend of Zelda series, except for you don't have any shields in this game for them to eat. They are extremely resistant to physical attacks, i.e. regular attacks. You equip anything with fire damage or arcane damage or something, you can take them out in 1 or 2 hits very easily. They'll do these pretty long-reaching attacks, usually in stretches of 3. I would wait for that to end, and then just go in and hit them with something other than a physical weapon, and you'll be good. There's a variety of these Hunchback ladies that shoot fire, and they shoot very high damage dealing fire right in front of them, so you want to dodge to the side in order to avoid that. And probably the best approach with any variety of these Hunchback ladies is just to be very aggressive and attack as fast as you can. These guys are man, I laugh just about every time I see these guys. They're big naked dudes who come after you with a club, and then they'll do somersaults and try to land on you. They do a lot of damage. You might want to use your environment to get up on a ledge so you can drop down on them or something, and just dodge and strike. These maniacs will do very fast strings of attack. Just wait for it to be over and then go in for the kill. These guys are pretty uncommon. They remind me of the guys from Skyrim. This one has a big broadsword. His attacks are pretty slow. Just get in there and take him out. Shouldn't give you too much trouble. There's another variety of them that uses a regular sized sword and a crossbow. With the crossbow, they always shoot right in front of them. If you stand there, you'll get hit. If you just dodge to the side and get close and they'll put it away, you can take advantage of that time to deliver quite a few hits on them. They are not too tough, but you will want to be prepared when you go fight them. Have full health and all that. These guys carry scythes that are on fire. They can do a fair amount of damage, and most people don't walk around with fire-resistant stuff. So just be careful of that, but they're not too bad. This mage shoots fireballs that can destroy columns, so using the environment can be tough, but you can hide behind a column once until it explodes, and then they don't have a lot of hit points, so as long as you can just get up close to them and hit them a couple times, they'll go down. These scorpions are pretty easy to deal with. They're also very rare, so count yourself lucky if you even encounter one. They deal poison damage to you, and their main special attack is after they're dead, they'll pop open and do some poison damage as well, so just step back when they die. These wily dogs are a pain in the butt. They always accompany this other guy behind them, a bone ash sorcerer. These dogs will almost always be able to come at you two at a time, and so they can be pretty tricky. They attack very fast in very long strings of attack. I was never really able to determine a good pattern. You want to just get some distance and try to hit them with strong attacks, because man, these guys are tough. Probably some of the hardest enemies in the game, I think. Part of the trouble is they're always accompanied by the Bone Ash Sorcerers, and so you might have all three to deal with, so you're going to want to deal with just these two dogs on their own, because if you had all three of those enemies at the same time to deal with, good luck with that. These guys you will have fought in boss form before you fight them as regular characters, the Bone Ash guys, so just do whatever you did to beat them before. In my case, a dodge and strike was pretty helpful. Very fast weapons like a sword, the cane, or the beast claws can really interrupt their attacks, and they'll go down pretty quickly. And there's a lot of varieties of this particular enemy. Thought this one was noteworthy as he has a gun for a hand, a cannon in fact, and so you're just going to want to dodge those attacks and go in for the kill. And that is pretty much all of the enemies in Bloodborne. There's a couple of small varieties, but that's it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope this was helpful in any way, and probably a nice trip down memory lane. I applaud you for watching this entire video, this 43-minute video. A game like Bloodborne deserves all the YouTube videos it can get. It is an amazing game with lots of variety, lots of strategy, very inventive environments, and overall very, very fun. Enjoy!